A question a lot of people like to ask is, should Christians participate in these holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and what we call pagan holidays? And in a sense, they are pagan. And in a sense, every day is some kind of pagan holiday. We have different kind of days where we celebrate all kinds of things. It might be, you know, Pride awareness month. They got so many different things coming out now where every day is some kind of day. And I think it's important that we understand priorities and we understand also that God looks at the heart and God understands intentions and he cares about this more than he does care about specific rules. And we have an example of this when Jesus was healing on the Sabbath day, and the Pharisees and scribes come to him and like, hey, look, you're breaking the rules. You can't heal on the Sabbath day. But what was more important was the person he was healing. And what's more important is the good that's being done. And this is what we have to keep in mind whenever there's holidays like this day of Thanksgiving. Now, when we go back and look at where this holiday came from, it came from a bad root. It came from, pilgrims coming here to the Americas and killing off, the native people, the native Indians, killing them and taking the land. So it's a holiday built on blood. But does that mean that something that started off bad can't turn out to be something good? If I meet somebody and when we first meet, we have an argument and a fight, and that's the way that we first met each other, was through a confrontation that was violent. Does that mean we can never make friends and start making something good out of our relationship because we met on bad terms? That's the same thing with every other day. We have to understand that every day is a day that God has made. I don't care if it's Halloween. I don't care if it's Thanksgiving. That day is not inherently evil because of something we did. Every day is inherently good because of God creating that day. So it's important that we understand that every day is God's. We don't change what a day is because of something we did or because we call it something. Now, what begins to be a problem is when people start using Thanksgiving as a day to thank God for all the things that we have, but then they forget to do it every other day of the year. So it's important that we take advantage of Thanksgiving because this is a day when a lot of family will be off work and a lot of people's hearts will be softened because of the day. So whatever it takes to soften people's heart, that's a good time for Christians to go ahead and take advantage of this and spend time with family while we have the chance, and also spread the gospel message and understand that God looks at the heart and he looks at the conscience. So he knows that you're not celebrating the death of Indians. You're using this day, another day that God has made, not Thanksgiving, but a day that God has made to connect with family and to also spread the gospel and to act loving and to show people that, look, we can do this every day. It doesn't have to be a one-day thing. I believe an important part of the Bible that tells us about this is in 1 Corinthians 8. And we look here starting at verse 4. Therefore, concerning the eating of foods, the eating of things offered to idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is no other God but one. Now, this verse here is telling us that we know that these days are really nothing. Someone that's spiritually discerning knows that this day isn't something that God is acknowledging as over. Oh, it's an evil day because it's Thanksgiving, or Halloween is an evil day because no, it's still a day that God has made. So anything that's going on, we need to take advantage of it because we have people whose hearts have been softened on this day. On the day of Thanksgiving, people are softened and people are thinking about family. People are thinking about spiritual things. People are thinking about being thankful. Let's take advantage of that as Christians and participate. But that doesn't mean that we're celebrating the death of Indians, So we have to make sure that our hearts are right because this is what God cares about. Now, when we continue reading, right here in verse 5, for even if there are so-called gods, whether in heaven or on earth, as there are many gods and many lords, and it's a lowercase g, lowercase l, yet for us there's only one God, the Father, of whom are all things, and we for him, and one Lord Jesus Christ, through whom all are all things, and through whom we live. However, there is not in everyone that knowledge. For some, with consciences of the idol, until now eat it as if it was offered to an idol, and their conscience being weak is defiled. So we see here, people, us Christians, we know that, look, this day isn't anything special. This isn't, this holiday doesn't mean that God made this, that he separated this day as an evil day, or that he separated this as a good day. This is just a regular day, and we need to treat every day the same way and be thankful every day. But some people don't know that. Some people actually do celebrate the fact that we took this land, or Americans took over this land. Some people do celebrate it for that reason, and the people that celebrate it for this reason, they are being sinful. So this is what he's telling. He said their conscience is being defiled because of the nature of the reason why they participate in these events. So if it's Halloween and you're going out to celebrate Halloween because it's about demons, and you're like, oh, I'm praising the dead, or I'm trying to bring back the dead, are you doing it in some kind of superstitious way? That is sinful. But if you know good and well, look, this is just another day the Lord has made. We have a lot of kids out here trick or treat. You know what? I'm gonna bring out a couple pieces of candy, and I'm gonna tell these kids about Jesus, and I'm gonna take advantage of the situation where we have people out of school and we have people out and about and we have family around. We're gonna use this situation as something good. The Bible tells us to meditate on things that are good. So if something that was initially bad turns into something good, we need to hold on to it. We hold on to what's good, and we get away with the negative. We tell people the origins of these holidays. We tell them the things that are bad, but we hold on to the good things, and we spend this time with family. So going further here in verse 8, but foods do not condemn us to God, for neither if we eat are we better, nor if we do not eat are we worse. And now I'm relating these foods because in this situation, these were people that were eating with people that were sacrificing their foods to idols, to fake gods. And this is the same thing with holidays. A lot of times people celebrate these holidays. Some people celebrate Christmas, and they're dedicating things to Santa Claus. They dedicate, the cookies or whatever to Santa Claus, and they believe in all these pagan things. Same thing with Easter. Instead of thinking about Jesus, they're thinking about the Easter bunny or whatever. So these things in themselves are the sinful things, but he's saying right here in verse 8 that the food does not condemn us. So us participating in eating turkey is not going to be what's going to condemn us. Just because we get with our family and we eat turkey and dressing doesn't mean that we're praising the murder of Indians. So it's about our conscience and our hearts. That's what God sees. He sees the hearts, he sees the conscience, and he knows the intentions of man. Okay, so now here, finishing off in verse 9. But beware, lest, however, this liberty of yours becomes a stumbling block to those who are weak. For if anyone sees you have the knowledge of eating an idol, so if anyone who sees you who having the knowledge of eating in an idol's temple, will not the conscience of him who is weak be emboldened to eat these things offered to idols? And because of your knowledge shall the weak brother perish for whom Christ died? But when you thus sin against the brethren and wound the weak conscience, you sin against Christ. Therefore, if food makes my brother stumble, I will never again eat meat, lest I make my brother stumble. So finishing off here, it's important that we communicate, especially with brothers and sisters in Christ, the meaning of each day, and not to let them get wrapped up in holidays and think that these are some special day, when every day is special and every day is given by God. So when we understand how every day is special and we're able to communicate this with our brothers and sisters, we can keep them from stumbling. We can keep them from falling into idol worship, and that's what these holidays can become. They can become worshiping of days that are evil, and these are idols. These evil days are idols if you're worshiping them for that reason, or if you're celebrating for those reasons. So it's important that we understand that every day is a day that the Lord has made, and we should rejoice and be glad in it. No matter what day, we should always be thankful, but also take advantage of the times where we have people's hearts softened by days. Take advantage of them and explain the true meaning of these holidays, to understand that we don't celebrate them for those days, but we celebrate it because it's a day that the Lord has made, and that we need to come together and take any chance we can to spread the gospel. And if there's someone that just can't understand this and they can't wrap their mind around it, then it's best not to even let them see you celebrating these days. You have some people that just are new to the faith and they don't understand these things, and maybe it'd be best for you not to even let them know about these holidays, or that you're celebrating this holiday or whatnot. And that's what the verse was telling us at the end, that if it's causing your brother to stumble, then don't even do it. So it's important that we understand the importance of not just holidays, but every single day, and remember that we don't want to become superstitious with these days and think that there's something evil about them or there's some kind of curse on these days. No, God ordained every day. So remember this, and we take advantage of every holiday. We take advantage of every time when man's hearts are softened, and we can bring and we can show our love as we always do, and we can also bring the message of Christ to people. Something to think about.
Do take good care of yourself.